Following the government's announcement in mid-February 2021 that theme parks could reopen from April 12th, the excitement from that moment onwards ramped up for me and many other roller coaster enthusiasts. I don't think there's ever been a 6-month off-season in this country, especially not whilst I've been an enthusiast anyway. So the 12th of April 2021 was a day that I was really looking forward to. In years gone by, I have covered the closed season news on a weekly basis at the Pleasure Beach, whether it be with written trip reports, for forums, or video updates, but the 2020-2021 off-season was almost impossible to do this because of the tiered restrictions which was quickly followed by a lockdown. So it was great to get back to Blackpool in late March 2021 and see the park coming to life with rides testing all day in glorious sunshine before the new season started this year. My first visit to the Pleasure Beach this year was on Thursday the 8th of April. The park was closed, but I had agreed with the marketing team at the Pleasure Beach to film a short video about some of the new merchandise that will be available at the park. We also filmed the Big One's new track, and also we did something that we'd never done previously at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. We filmed some mounted on-ride POVs. Opening day at the Pleasure Beach being in April was strange, especially as the weather was nice and it was a Monday. Usually opening weekend is on a wet, windy and grey February Saturday. Also, with all of the UK's parks being open on the same date, coaster enthusiasts were spread out all over the country. It was wonderful to be back at the park enjoying the rides with minimal queues in the sunshine. In late April, me and Becca were able to do the first public Walk the Woody event at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. This meant we'd be able to walk around the Big Dipper, something neither of us had done before and something we were so happy to be invited to do. Walking around wooden coasters is something that used to be a common thing on roller coaster enthusiast events, but that was back in the 90s and 2000s, not in recent times, so for Pleasure Beach to make this a possibility for fans in 2021, that was excellent. Walk the Woody starts off with the group walking the opposite way in which the train usually returns to the station. The drops, which seem quite small whilst you're on the ride, are certainly not small when walking them. They're a lot steeper than they appear. The walk takes the group all the way up to the turnaround section by the Big Blue, before people taking part in the event then come away from the structure and walk back towards the start of the Big Dipper along the Pleasure Beach Express track. Guests on the Walk the Woody event are then given the chance to walk up the Big Dipper's lift hill to the highest point of the ride, where the views of the Pleasure Beach are quite simply stunning. If you did not do this in 2021, then I completely recommend booking it for 2022. You will honestly not regret it. As well as walking around the Big Dipper in April, we did some on-ride filming on the Big One for Blackpool Pleasure Beach's TikTok, for our channel, and for the SC Creative Media portfolio. Skipping on to June, the Pleasure Beach started to trial their new digital Speedy Pass system and allowed us to trial it at no cost whilst filming a vlog about how it works. The new Speedy Pass system was something we ended up using on more than one occasion. However, there was a slight frustration with the new system. Season Pass holders could not book it in advance and had to be in the park as soon as the gates opened to guarantee that they could get Speedy Pass on the day of their visit. In June, we were able to film our best ever on-ride POV to date, which was a track level video on the Big One. roller coaster would you like to see us do a track level POV on in 2022? And please check out the SC Creative Media channel. Throughout the season, there was multiple late night riding events at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, including 6 Saturdays in a row from mid-July to the end of August, when it was 10 AM opening to 10 PM close. In 2021, there was also 4 PM to 9:30 PM Fridays in September, when the Pleasure Beach trialled late night Fridays during the first few weeks of the illumination season. It was a great idea to do those opening hours, but I think the gate price may have put people off, and that is why the park was quiet. In September, we had our first Roller Coaster Enthusiast Club event since 2019, and it is quite possibly the best one we've ever had. It was planned out at the Pleasure Beach in early 2021, and sold out almost instantly, and after much planning it was able to take place restriction-free. The event started in a fairly relaxed way, with the group taking over the big one for one ride each at the end of the first late night Friday event at the park. We were on the big one between 9:30 and 10ish, and the big one's siren, which is sounded when the train's dispatched, prompted the group to start whooping every time they wanted the big one staff to sound the siren. Of course, the big one staff were more than happy to get involved. The atmosphere in the station was incredible. In 9 years of doing events like this, I'd never witnessed something like this before. As well as the station whooping, we'd been able to rig the GoPro to the big one again and film another track level POV, but this time in the dark, a first for Pleasure Beach experience. The following day started with the Pleasure Beach welcoming the group with breakfast in the hub, and there was an opening speech from Andy Highgate.
I just wanted to say, we last night, well, it wasn't an ERT, but you know, the last ride on the big one yesterday had a really fabulous atmosphere. We want to keep that going on over the weekend, so if we can do that, that would be brilliant. And then from Pleasure Beach, as a family company, obviously over the last 2 years has been bizarre and totally odd for everybody. It's so great to have a big group of you back here. We really, really appreciate the support that you've given us. You know, on a personal level, when you guys have come and done, you know, things like Walk the Woody and helped us with stuff like that, it's been really, really good for us. It's really challenging for hospitality businesses at the moment, so we really, really appreciate your support, and we were really pleased that you're all here for the weekend. So I just wanted to say thank you for that, guys. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Just want to say thank you for supporting the Pleasure Beach Experience event, first one since 2019. I just want everybody to give Andy and Robert a big round of applause for organising this event.
Mike, usually one of our event organisers, was the last to arrive. He may have got some stick for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Park.
The event kick-started with ERT sessions on Nickelodeon Streak and Blue Flyer.
Here we go, we're on the Rugrats Lost River, Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and it's the big boat. Yeah. Hey! And my feet are already soaking wet from drips. Hey! Oh! Ah! No! Good to see the effects working now.
Regretted that, didn't I?
Go again. No, I think you need to go again. Yes, off it.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Still not wet though.
For the rest of the day, most of us spent it chilling in the hub watching this year's Oktoberfest show. But maybe chilling is the wrong word.
Johnny goes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah. Johnny goes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah. Touching hands, you're allowed to touch. Reaching out, touching me, touching you. Mike, are you ready? Are you ready for Mike to play Jingle Bells on a sousaphone on stage with fake Germans in Blackpool? It's weird, isn't it? You haven't started yet. You boo at the back and cheer at the front. Mike, Jingle Bells, go! You gotta stop. Right, let's get this song going all the way around. Now if we go out of the hole and come back in anyway, everyone's going to think it's really weird. Let's do some tricking in. Come on then, all the way around. Everyone's going to wonder what on earth is going on in the hole this afternoon. We're going to look like we're on stage, you know we're doing that. Here we go now. Here we go. Here we go now. There's got a load of people coming in just grab their seats, their drinks, their bags, their phones. It's fine, sweet. This is weird. Don't take pictures of this, Jason. Here they come. Right, let's get everybody back to their tables. Wave them up, back to their tables. Stay stood up, stay stood up. Just everyone back to your tables. Let's all do this one, let's all do this one. Right,
This excellent day was rounded off with a track walk around the Pleasure Beach Express. The Sunday morning started with morning greetings in the hub again, with Mike hungover once again, followed by a walk around Icon Garden, which had never been done before, and then we got to watch Icon being set up for the day.
So guys, we're just doing it on the speeds, obviously on the other train. The train that's going down Law to 1 at the moment. We normally do 3 of those before we do what's called an overspeed. That was the one you really want to be on, but no one's going to be on it to make sure it goes over the top hat element and comes back. When we're done with this, we'll also be doing lap bar checks. Then we have to do a trial run, and then we're good to go, alright?
There was no further event activities before the end of the day, but then we had an hour's ERT on the big one to finish. It was quite possibly the best weekend I've ever had at the Pleasure Beach. Sticking with September, I did 3 of the 4 late night Friday events. It was great to experience the park after dark during the illuminations. In October, the Pleasure Beach brought back Journey to Hell Freak Nights, their own take on a scare event which takes place outside of the park's usual opening hours. I haven't reviewed this in a video, but I did do a written review. I have no footage of this event, so we'll use night shots of the park instead of any shots of Freak Nights. In my opinion, Freak Nights should not be outside of the Pleasure Beach's opening hours. The concept is a good one, but I just don't think it works. I think an event contained within the park's hours would open it up to a bigger crowd, make it less complicated, and make the dead spots in the out-of-hours event less of an issue. It doesn't need to be a journey, it just needs to be an event within the park hours, which means it's less of a marketing headache, much easier for guests to process what the event is, and available to anybody who's at Blackpool Pleasure Beach on the day that the event is on. This year there's been Freak Nights and the usual Vampire Beach. Separating the 2 events may not be as easy for non-enthusiasts as it is for enthusiasts, and from the comments I heard on the night I attended, I do think this was an issue. People saw that the big one and Icon were part of Freak Nights, so may have assumed that it was a free-flow event with the whole park open alongside the scare event. As an event that was included in the day-to-day operation of the park, I think it'd work as something that was on every October Saturday only, leading up to the half-term week, and then every day from the 22nd of October 2022 to the 31st of October 2022 as an example. Rather than it being a journey to hell, it would be about having different scare mazes and or zones dotted around the park. After a certain time of the day, some of the rides would switch to Halloween mode. By that I mean dimming the lights in certain ride areas, changing the station audio and things like that. As a scare event contained in the park during their normal operational hours, I think as an event it has untapped potential. The Grand National closed in mid-October, and shortly after this news broke on Pleasure Beach's official website, all but one of the trains were taken off from the track. Panic over removal immediately set in, with its future unknown, but a retrack seems far more likely than anything else at this point in time. At the time of recording, there is no official confirmation from the park about the future of the Grand National, but in truth I think it is very unlikely that any announcements will be made unless it is having modernisations made that will change the ride as we know it. I have been hearing all sorts of rumours about the Grand National, including wooden roller coaster manufacturers coming in to retrack it, RMC coming in and going down their retrack 208 route, not a conversion, just a steel retrack. And then there's also word that it'll be retracked in-house by the Pleasure Beach's engineering team. We'll keep an eye on things from outside of the park whilst filming our usual close season updates. In early November, the Pleasure Beach teased that there was changes coming to Icon, and later on in that month, the change was announced. Here's a quote from the press release. The UK's first and only double-launch roller coaster Icon is getting twisted next spring with Enzo. In a first for Europe, riders on Icon's rear 2 seats will spin and twist freely during the ride's existing thrilling duration. Unquote. Speculation remains about how many trains this will be on. My understanding is it's one of the 3 trains, but I've still no idea how it's going to be implemented into the station, but I do think it'll be an upcharged experience. So that's the season pretty much covered. I'll end the video with my highlights, but for now, here's what I hope is changed for 2022. I hope to see the need for pass holders to pre-book every visit scrapped in 2022, I have missed being able to make a last minute decision to go to the park without having to pre-book, wait for an email, then add the e-ticket to my phone and then finally go into the park. It can be a faff if the signal in Blackpool isn't very good. Staying on the subject of e-tickets, I hope the scanning them at every ride is scrapped in 2022. I do understand the reason why it has to be done, but I feel like the whole process is more trouble than it's worth. It slows down ride operations at times. It also means we all have a loose article in our hands as we're boarding the ride, which can sometimes encourage guests to then start taking selfies and slow things down even further, and it has meant carrying a power bank around the Pleasure Beach on every single visit this year. I don't think we'll see the walk around pass return, so I do hope e-ticket scanning at the rides is removed next year. Moving away from pass holder grumbles, the pricing has come up in conversation a lot this year in our Pleasure Beach Experience Chat Facebook group. Winter weekends have been charged at full price or somewhere near to full price, and they have been quiet mostly. That could be because not many people want to ride roller coasters in the cold, but would a lower price have made it more appealing to visit? The same could be said for the late night Fridays in September. Comments online suggested the interest was there, but the price was off-putting. I'm no expert on theme park pricing, so it's not for me to say how much it should be on each day, but it can't be denied that pricing does come up a lot in conversation about the Pleasure Beach, and I do wonder if the online prices could be reduced to encourage more bookings in advance of the quieter days. In the Pleasure Beach's defence in terms of pricing, the pricing isn't that far from being the same as other parks in the UK, including other parks that have nowhere near as many attractions as what Blackpool Pleasure Beach have got. Here's a quick run through of my highlights at Blackpool Pleasure Beach in 2021. The big one seemed to be open more than ever, especially on some of the very windy days, which is a good chance for me to also mention the crew on there this season have been great. The new track from Tazika on the big one has improved the rider experience again, but it has taken some getting used to it being so quiet through the tunnel at the end. Other highlights in 2021 at the Pleasure Beach include Walk the Woody, as previously mentioned, all of the late night closes that I made it to, our event in September, discovering how much I enjoy Icon at the front compared to every other seat, and last but not least, Big Dipper's first drop retrack, which has made a massive difference. Heading into the 2022 season is going to be interesting, because there's speculation about how the spinning seats will be implemented into Icon's loading setup, and how much will it cost to do the spinning seats? What's going to happen with the Grand National? And will Valhalla reopen in time for Easter? Many thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next Pleasure Beach Experience video.